I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Yeah, well, of course it does, Bill. Welcome in, kiddos. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It is Tuesday, February 10th. Welcome in. Thank you for watching and listening. As always, coming up on the show today, it's kind of a bittersweet Tuesday, really. It is our final visit with Danny Kelly from The Ringer, talking all things football, at least on a weekly basis. We then, once the football season is over, we give Danny a little bit of rest. The guy's been working hard. In fact, in his new Netflix contract, he's not allowed to work more than a couple days a week. But we will get Danny on throughout the NFL season, key dates, and all, especially leading up to the NFL draft. Canzano is here. Now, John, we don't let John have a time off at all. So John is always going to be with us. But it's a little sad day to be saying goodbye to Danny for a little bit. We've loved having him on. I hope everyone has enjoyed listening and watching Danny Kelly every single week. He does a great job there at The Ringer with his entire crew. So we'll wrap up the NFL season with Danny. We'll get John's thoughts on the Super Bowl, everything that was involved in the Super Bowl. We'll talk the game. We'll talk halftime. We're going to talk plenty of news coming out of the Pac-12 this week. In fact, he just has a story that he posted probably 20 so minutes ago, early this morning, depending when you're watching or listening to this, about the Pac-12 schedule, Mountain West, and the basketball future of their championship games in Las Vegas. So we'll get the very latest with John. And I want to ask him about the news of North Dakota State leaving North Dakota. That's a big news going to the Mountain West, especially the amount of money that they had to pay to get into the Mountain West. And if you look at it, would you rather have North Dakota State in the Pac-12 or Texas State? Maybe from a competitive standpoint, you'd rather have Texas State. I get the geographically, you'd rather have Texas State in it. But North Dakota State's been a hell of a good program, and they can play with anybody. I mean, you just saw two starting offensive linemen on the team that just won the Super Bowl playing at North Dakota State in Sundell and Gray Zabel. So it is a program that has been producing NFL players for a very long time. So we'll talk to Danny Kelly, John Canzano, pitchers and catchers reporting today for people that are playing in the WBC. We'll have some news and notes on that coming up a little bit later in the show. And we'll get to Ken Walker's money here just a quick second, because now you go from this high of the Super Bowl. Now you start projecting ahead what's next for Seattle. And it's because you're like, I can't break down the game even more about what they did in the Super Bowl. So your attention quickly turns to, what's next? How do they keep it going so they have another run at this thing coming up next year? As always, a big thanks to Limback Lumber right over my shoulder. You're watching Limback Lumber supporting the Daily Puck Drop and Puck Sports. Paul, Matt, Mark, and the crew, they've been with us since day one. We can't thank them enough. They are going to take care of you. They're going to offer free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. They have got the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. They provide old school service, and they've been doing it since 1930. Give Limback Lumber a call at 206-782-3487 or visit them at limbacklumber.com. You can always visit me on social media, Puck Sports everywhere. And then also at pucksports.com is the website. There you can see all of our work that we do daily. Plus, there's a link at the very top of the page to sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. You ask yourself, well, what do I get for a Puck's Posse membership? Well, it is supporting the daily projects we do Monday through Friday, plus bonus shows throughout the week. Coming out later today, we're going to catch up with Stretch for the Sports Pit. He was at the Super Bowl. Can't wait to get his thoughts and his reaction from watching the Seahawks win another Super Bowl. He was there with his brother. Him and his brother do a bunch of great sports strips. So I know he's fired up to talk to everyone coming up later today. So we'll release that this afternoon. Tomorrow, we will catch up. We will release another edition of Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish. And then, of course, Thursdays will be our first opportunity at Puck Sports to talk to Mitch Levy for KJ Arts. Now, it's coming up on tomorrow's show, a little bit different. I really don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. We are definitely going to go down somewhere on the parade route, probably closer to the end, going to park the Super Van Goldie and attempt to do the show from the van. Now, there's some things I'm probably going to record. Divish will probably try to get out of the way before I leave. I can't do that live. Well, we record it anyways, but I think we can record it in the morning. But we will attempt. We will attempt to go live from the parade route. What could go wrong? I mean, only everything. So we'll find out. It'll be probably, and I don't even know if Jim Moore will be in his home or will he be on the road. You know what? F it. You know what? You got to throw enough stuff against the wall. You never know what's going to happen. So looking forward to that tomorrow. And again, as we talked, one of the, leading off the rundown here is talking about, Ken Walker. You think about the money that Ken Walker has made for himself. What Ken Walker make during this playoff run, and certainly from the injury to Zach Charbonnet. Now, I would agree that was it, in a weird way, blessing in disguise that it gives Ken Walker more carries? Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, Ken Walker has proven that he can be a feature back in this offense. There is no doubt about that. Are they a better football team with Zach Charbonnet? 100%. And part of the reason that Ken Walker was rested at the end of the season, part of the reason that Ken Walker probably had this stretch since Charbonnet went out was because of the lack of wear and tear on Ken Walker's body in the beginning of the season. Ken Walker was the feature back and getting 20 to 25 touches. Ken Walker is not going to be as spry as he was in the Super Bowl. There's just no way. They got a great thing going with that 1-2 punch with he and Charbonnet. Now, is he clearly the number one running back over Charbonnet? Yeah, I mean, they're different styles. But Charbonnet provides something in the passing game that they were, since he went out, were lacking. Holani had a few good plays, and I think George Holani is going to be a fine running back in this league. But he ain't Zach Charbonnet. He's just not. In Ken Walker, and again, Zach Charbonnet is not Ken Walker. Ken Walker is a different running back. And he proved that in that stretch of games. He proved it that they could give him even more responsibilities going into next season. But he's going to get paid. Okay? Now, he's not going to get whatever that figure is going to be. I mean, you never know until somebody overpays him. But his market value is around $36 million in a 4-year deal. It's around $9 million a year is where he is projected to be. Now, that would put him right at Ramondre Stevenson, who we just saw in the Super Bowl. He's a better back than Stevenson, clearly. So he's going to get paid more than Stevenson. And you have to ask yourself this. Is he worth more than Christian McCaffrey? I don't think there's anyone that's going to debate he's a better running back than Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey's at $38 million. Josh Jacobs is the highest paid, I think, followed by James Cook, Jonathan Taylor, and then Barkley. Boy, I put an argument in him with Jacobs and probably James Cook. I don't think he's as good as McCaffrey, certainly not as good as Barkley, but $9 million. I mean, he's got to be priority number one. He comes across as a guy that, I'm not going to say a hometown deal, but a guy that would not hold Seattle maybe over the coals, to be the highest paid running back in the league. He doesn't come across that way, but that's just how I view it. So we'll see. We'll get to the free agent running backs later, but it's a big offseason for Seattle when it comes down to what are they going to do with Ken Walker. Let's get more reaction there on the Super Bowl, plus news and notes coming out of college football and the Pac-12 specifically is our weekly visit with John Canzano, all brought to you by the one and only Flat Stick Pub. If it's fun you desire, it's fun you're going to get at Flat Stick Pub. It doesn't matter what the occasion is, whether it's date night, guys night, ladies night, or large group event, Flat Stick Pub's got you covered. They have 6 great locations across the Pacific Northwest, from Pioneer Square to Kirkland, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. All locations offer the best pub experience in Washington. 2 rules at Flat Stick Pub: drink local and have fun. Pretty simple. So if you like to have fun, love local beer, and great tasting food, make Flat Stick Pub your next spot. Visit them at flatstickpub.com. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. He joins on a weekly basis. John Canzano, johncanzano.com. Go get yourself a subscription today. Watch his YouTube page, John Canzano, all brought to you by the one and only Flat Stick Pub that we reminded you last week had 99 cents or 95 cent wings. We asked John how many could eat, and he kind of was, I don't know, like in the 20 to 30 range. Did we have wings at the Super Bowl? If not, what was the number one go-to on Sunday?
Chili. It was chili. And tell me if I'm a bad dad. Here's the thing. I watched the game. We didn't have a big party. I watched the game with my 9-year-old daughter, my 11-year-old daughter. They both had 2 friends over, okay? So I want parents who are watching this to tell me, is this bad parenting? Do I need to be reported? But the girls were watching the game, and they had a casual interest. And I thought to myself, this would be a great opportunity for me to teach my kids and their friends how to gamble on football. And so I got the 9-year-old and the 11-year-old, and I said, we're going to do a Super Bowl square pool. Rick Neuheisel probably approves of this. And we're going to show them how to do the pool. And I gave them 25 squares each. I even bought gift cards, Target, Amazon, other Starbucks, things that they would want. They stayed locked into the game, Puck. They watched all 4 quarters right to the end. My 9-year-old was like rooting for the Patriots to score a touchdown, kick the extra point. They went for 2. She was beside herself. But I thought to myself, well, was that bad? Like, should I have not taught them how to gamble on the Super Bowl, or did I make the game more fun? I don't know.
Well, I think in a few years when the parents reach back out to you and wonder why their daughter's in rehab for gambling addiction, I mean, maybe that would be the time that you would be sorry. No, what I thought you did on Sunday, you should be commended. In fact, that is a Father of the Year moment. It's never, ever too early to teach your son or daughter how to wager properly on a professional sporting event.
And I think as a girl dad, I have 3 daughters. And, look, I've been in a number of Super Bowl rooms growing up where the guys kind of understood what was going on with prop bets and the square pool thing, whatever. And there was a difference. And I know this is not PC to say that there was like some of the women in the room in college, they never done this. They didn't understand. I was like, your parents have failed you by not teaching you how to do this, how to bet on pick up heads or tails. So I did 3 things with them too. I said, heads or tails. I said, will there be a score in the first 6 minutes?
Yep.
And give me your final score. And so and it was interesting because they stayed interested in the game because of the gambling element, and they all went home with gift cards.
Yeah, well, gambling will do that. I mean, that was probably at the only thing that I was worried about as the game was winding down was the total. That's all I was concerned about. Didn't need another score, any of that. I mean, the line in question and everything. So yeah, of course, it's a great way to stay involved. It does I'll get back to the Super Bowl, but it does get us to this point that I think I just saw before you came on. I mean, these athletes from the Big Ten have reached out, I think, to the NCAA president again, asking them, can we get rid of these prop bets? And I do wonder eventually if we're going to get there with professional sports and college sports where we get rid of these prop bets, because that to me is the one thing that is the slippery slope in gambling with sports.
Yeah. And I think it has to do.
I mean, it is the slippery slope.
It is. And I think it'll be the concession that is made, right? Because I can remember Adam Silver, when all this gambling stuff came up with the NBA, he came out and, he pointed a finger at the prop bets. It's like, Oswald was a lone shooter. Like this is the problem. We got to isolate it. It was Tim Donaghy, nobody else. We didn't have a systemic issue. It's the prop bets. It's not human nature. It's not the players. It's the prop bets. So I do think the prop bets will be the casualty, but I think it'll be limited to the over-unders on player totals. I think you'll still get who's the first touchdown scorer. I had defensive score by the Seahawks, during the game, but I saw that coming because you could see that Seattle's defense was going to be a major factor in this game. I think we talked about it potentially being a really low scoring game last week. And to your point, I think you made a great point about the running backs. Let's think about this. What did we learn from the Kansas City Chiefs era of football? We learned that the running back position, that there are a lot of good players who play that position. And if you are doing things right at the point of attack with your offensive line, and you're playing good defense, and your special teams was lights out. I mean, nobody wants to talk about that, but the special teams for the Seahawks was just amazing. The punting game was amazing. And you put a lot of pressure on the other team. You don't have to have Saquon Barkley back there. You just need a serviceable back that has got an identity, and that's what Kenneth Walker was. He has his own identity, and the Seahawks know who he is, and they used him in a way that was effective. And so I think you can use a lot of players at that position, and I think, the Chiefs taught us that. The Eagles tried to tell us different, but here are the Seahawks going, yeah, you know what? That position may not be as important as some other positions.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one because I think over the years that position certainly has been devalued a lot, right? As the way that the NFL looks at it, maybe even in college football. I mean, it's become all the leagues have become extremely devoted to passing. I mean, you even see it in the high school level. But I think the funny thing about sports and the funny thing about the NFL, it really does kind of come full circle in terms of it is at its basic root comes down to, can you win the line of scrimmage? Can you control the clock? Can you run the ball? You know, teams that want to just sit there and pass it all the time. Yeah, they put up great numbers and they've won. I mean, they've won championships before. It's not like they haven't. But the teams, the long-lasting, I think, consistency of any football team is just the ability to run the ball. It was great to see Ken Walker have that type of performance. It's amazing that he was the first MVP, I think, since Terrell Davis. I think it was 98. Yeah. I mean, that is just, maybe you're going 28 years. Yeah. Amazing how much, because when we were growing up, the running backs were everything. The running backs were the quarterbacks.
Yeah. It was Tony Dorsett. It was Herschel Walker. It was, it was Earl Campbell back in the day.
Yeah. Walter Payton, all those guys. And so it's, I think there's always ebbs and flows there of the NFL. What else? Thoughts of the game? Just everything, the pageantry of it, the controversy of the halftime show that got everybody in their up in arms about it. But what about Jody Allen not thanking Paul?
It's Jody. Jody, you wouldn't be there on that stage if Paul hadn't bought the team. I know Jody played a role in, hey, Paul, you should buy this team and all that. But Jody wouldn't have been there. John Schneider wouldn't have been there. The Seahawks organization and the fans wouldn't have had the trajectory that they had without Paul Allen's influence. Now, Paul Allen was not perfect. I criticized him often and frequently with his ownership of the Blazers. But for her to be on that stage, I gave her a pass in the NFC Championship game. She did not mention her brother. And I thought she was excited, but she had 2 weeks to think about it. She had people in her inner circle. Somebody had to be tapping her on the shoulder going, hey, do you think maybe you should give a nod to Paul if you win this thing? You're holding the Lombardi Trophy. You thank the fans. You say how important the 12s are. You talk about your coach, Mike McDonald. You talk about your GM, John Schneider. You talk about the players. I found it very telling that Jody Allen did not mention her brother, did not say, this one's for you, Paul, did not say, this is the culmination of my brother's legacy. It is part of his legacy. The Paul G. Allen Trust still owns the team. And Jody's standing on that stage. And granted, this organization made some really shrewd, smart moves in moving on from Russell Wilson, moving on from Pete Carroll. Good organizations make those kinds of moves. Paul didn't have his fingerprints on that. But man, his legacy, I just wish someone would have said, hey, Paul Allen, wherever you are, this one's for you. Or let's not ignore the fact that this is still his team and his state's team.
Yeah, because it's the piggyback on that one. Because I've actually been surprised with the response from some Seahawks fans on this.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead. Why does it matter? Well, it matters because this is the first Super Bowl since he passed away. It matters because without him, they wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
It matters because she had not one but two opportunities to get up there and just say, hey, Paul, he's watching down from heaven. That's all you got to do. Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Paul,
it's real easy.
To my brother. I'm thinking about my brother today. Not just the 12s, but my brother. Yeah, the biggest 12 of them all, up in the sky. Like some shred of, I'm going to say it. I thought it was classless. It's a nod that you need to give. You didn't buy this team. You don't own this team. Yeah. I love that, again, girl dad, there's a woman accepting the Lombardi Trophy for the first time. Great. Awesome. But come on, a little nod to your brother there. It made me kind of wonder about their relationship for the first time. And I was like, wait a minute. Is there something we don't know? Was there bad blood? Was there some kind of, some disagreement that happened? And, but I think she needed to do that in that moment. Somebody needed to do it. And it didn't happen. I was disappointed.
It was a missed opportunity. By everybody involved. PR department not acknowledging it, not thinking about it. Listen, we talked about when they raised the flag even for the championship game. I thought it was a missed opportunity. Have her do it, but it was a missed opportunity to at least show them on the big screen doing it the three other times.
Yeah.
Or the couple, three other times that
How about the parade? Will they do it at the parade? Somebody get to the Seahawks PR team and be like, a nod to Paul would be a nice moment.
God, a good parade. Oh, it's going to be great coming up on tomorrow. Parade and And we get pitchers and catchers reporting tomorrow, John.
Nice.
What a banner day for a sports fan. It's just wonderful. I can't wait. What did you just overall? What would you make of the Super Bowl? I think for those who watch it maybe from afar, you're like, are you kind of nodding asleep in the first half? To me, it was just this progressive, slow drip dominance that I actually thoroughly enjoyed.
It did not surprise me. We had talked about this. I said 27-16. I mean, I thought under. I thought Seahawks. And they were just in control the whole time. There was no drama there. But I'll say this, like, I grew up as a Niner fan. And I know when your team wins a Super Bowl, every snap is beautiful. Every snap is wonderful, lovely. Every commercial is better. The post-game celebration is made for you. For Seahawks fans, that was a beautiful game. For the rest of America, everybody was going, oh, there's no offense. I think that it proved that the NFC was the far more better conference. It proved that the NFC West might have had the 3 best teams in football. I think it's possible that the Seahawks were 1, the Rams were 2, and the Niners were 3. I mean, you can make that argument. I didn't love the Patriots. I watched them. I thought they were a patsy in this game. And I don't think it would have mattered if Bo Nix was there and the Broncos. I think the Seahawks would have mopped them up too. I mean, the Seahawks were that good. And the way that the Seahawks, handled the Rams, handled the Niners, told you all you needed to know. They were battle tested, got into that game. Sam Darnold made all the right plays. The real hero of the game, though, is that front 4 of the Seahawks on defense. You can't block them, and they allow you to do so much. Mike McDonald in the postgame was gaking out, talking about too high safeties and how you can play too high because you can handle the run game with that front 4. That Seahawks front was just dominant, and I think you could have easily given them the MVP. You could have given the punter the MVP. He was lights out. The field goal kicker, he could have been your MVP. Like that's a really good game if you're a Seahawks fan. You could pass that MVP trophy around.
Yeah. Why do you, I know why, but this halftime thing just really got people up in arms. Yeah. I think it was just so dumb all the way around. Who cares? Does anyone really watch the damn thing anyways?
I watched it, but I didn't really. It's been a few years for me. Like, look, I was there in 2007 when Prince played "Purple Rain in the Rain."
Well, that's that's Prince.
All right, like, okay, like it was from I've covered 9 Super Bowls in person. It wasn't the greatest show, but that show's not for me. And I think the sooner the masses realize that show's not for you either, better. Like the Super Bowl is trying to bring in audiences that it wouldn't have otherwise. It's trying to attract younger people that, it might be a Latin audience this year. And, that Super Bowl thing, that halftime thing's never been for me. But I just think the fact that everybody tries to politicize sports, I understand why. It's the last place where everybody's gathered. On our social media accounts, we've all decided the algorithm's in charge. We only listen to and watch the news outlets that agree with us and our opinions. So these sports venues become the last place where, you're sitting next to somebody who has different views than you. Yeah. And so I think the by nature of that and they politicize everything. I need my sports to be my escape. And so the halftime thing was annoying to me in that way.
Yeah, it was annoying to me from the outside. Everyone just reacted to all of it, and I watched it, and it was like, I don't listen to his music. I don't know anything about his music at all. I was entertained with the performance. Yeah. People don't know this about me. Actually, I say it a lot. I'm a big musical guy, John. I love musicals.
Yeah,
love them, and had a very musical vibe to me. So I was kind of,
there you go. You're happy.
I was happy.
Look, and have they announced the halftime show for next year yet? I mean,
I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be met with, here we go again.
And what day I know who's performing at halftime. Let's keep track of that.
Hey, but that Brandy Carlisle from our beautiful state, man, that girl.
Love that.
God, she's unbelievable. And I want to do another, before we get some to Pac-12 news, I want another hat tip nod to our guy, Mike Tirico. Can we just acknowledge how freaking good that guy is?
Yeah.
Did you see this where he gets done calling the game? Then as they're still celebrating down on the field with confetti on the field, he's doing a stand-up, John, where he's anchoring the primetime coverage of the Olympics in Italy. Jesus, what are we doing? Can we get somebody else to maybe fill it for a few minutes? He just got done 7, 8, 9 hours of coverage of the Super Bowl.
Yep. Pivot him right into driving the bus home.
Oh, man, he was incredible. He's an incredible broadcaster.
Kind of a big day for NBC, right? Like, and by the way, as good as Tirico was, I thought Collinsworth was not good. Like, you know, he was annoyed that there weren't touchdowns being scored in the game. He wants the ball in the air. He doesn't want a defensive battle. He seemed at one point he said, "I got nothing." You know, you can't say that as a broadcaster. I got nothing. That's your job, Collinsworth.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Chris, but I get it. I mean, you're not going to please everyone on these on these broadcasts. Before we get to the Pac-12, there was a story that came out again there. And speaking of the NBA, right? There's a story that came out a few days ago from somebody in Dallas that, hey, this could be a good year for Seattle. You know, they could announce expansion coming up this summer with Seattle and Las Vegas. Everyone assumes it's those two teams. I reached out to a couple people that certainly follow this closely. They said, it's kind of a nothing burger, but you know, I don't expect anything maybe to come out of it. But who knows? That certainly could change. But so you got that right, where even Adam Silver said there could be something that happened in this year, and if it would happen this summer, that their board of governors and all that makes sense. And then a couple of days ago, this comes out with the Blazers. That, my God, the future of them staying in Portland is in jeopardy. What's going on down there?
Well, there's some fear-mongering going on, and Seattle fans will lean into this and understand it probably better than anybody. Like, you know, there's always been a fear in Portland that the Blazers would leave. And, you know, the Blazers mean more to Portland than, you know, any sports franchise in America means to any professional city, because most of those other cities have multiple professional teams. The Blazers are Portland's the largest city in America that has only one of the major professional sports teams. You compare that to Pittsburgh, very similar market size, and you see, you know, how many more offerings the Steelers and Pirates and Penguins. The Blazers mean a lot. And there's always been the fear, especially since Paul owned the team, that he might eventually want to relocate the Blazers to Seattle. That's always been lingering, especially with the Sonics leaving. People know that.
That's the fear of people down there, right?
Yeah, it's and look, and I'll say this, like it's not without reason. I mean, Paul Allen, who was living in Seattle and Mercer Island, wherever, he owned the team. He hired Nate McMillan, Mr. Sonic, to coach the team. He drafted Brandon Roy, University of Washington. They signed Jamal Crawford. They drafted Martell Webster. It was almost
Kevin
like
Calabro's calling
the games. I kind of expected I was going to wake up one day and the Space Needle would be outside Moda Center. Like it was like Paul wanted so badly for Portland to be like, you know, isn't this better? Isn't it so much better that, and people in Portland who have this, you know, don't tell anybody else, keep this between us. There's kind of a little brother, big brother syndrome that goes on with Portland and Seattle.
Sure.
Right? It's the same dynamic that, you know, I saw this in Fresno, California. Fresno's not LA. It's not the Bay Area. It's right in the middle. There's an inferiority complex, and Sacramento's got it too with the Bay Area. There's an inferiority complex where they look over and they're just constantly going, hey, you know, we're not as big. We're not as good. We don't have as much as those cities. And so that has lingered. And so Tom Dundon buys the Blazers. He doesn't even have them under control yet. He obviously wants to develop the area around Moda Center. Right now, you go to a Blazer game, there's nowhere to go to dinner. You don't walk around outside the Moda Center after the game. Mm-hmm. You walk back to your car and you hope your windows didn't get broken and somebody broke into your car. That's what you do. And so I don't care if you're going to a game or a concert. You kind of sheepishly go back to your car and you go, okay, good, everything's fine. And so I think the development play is what Dundon's after. He did this in Nashville with his NHL team, developing the area around the arena. That's where the money is. It's not in owning the team. And so Dundon's being smart. He's coming in. He's got Adam Silver saying that they need a new building. I don't think they need a new building. I think the bones on the Moda Center are fine. I think they need about $600 million in upgrades. They need to redo the club levels, the suite levels. They need to develop the area, the infrastructure around the building. They need to invite restaurants and entertainment district in like other cities and create what Seattle has in, having even a nice, facility there. Like, I went to the NCAA tournament games. People are walking to the game. I'm like, this is awesome. This is great. So I think Dundon's move right now is to use the threat of portability, use the threat that the Blazers could leave to get what he wants from state legislators and from City Hall. And were they reactive? Yesterday, fans were all worried, and the state introduced, hey, we got a bill on the books. It's going to help infuse some funding that will be earmarked towards renovations at the arena. I don't think the Blazers are leaving. Seattle is not where they would go because the NBA owners have already factored in Seattle and Vegas. They're getting $6 billion plus for those two franchises and expansion. They're not going to let somebody move to Vegas or Seattle. But what Dundon could do is he could use the threat of taking the team to Nashville and say, hey, I'm developing the area around the arena. I can put the Blazers in there. It's not what he wants to do because there's more money right here in Portland. If he does it, just duplicates what he's doing in Nashville. So I think he's going to get what he wants. I think the Blazers will stay. Adam Silver does not want this stain on his legacy, like David Stern has the stain of Seattle on his. So I think it happens, but a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of fear-mongering. And I hate being the guy who's going, everybody settle down. But I was the guy yesterday going, everybody settle down. This is just billionaire poker.
But I get it, though, with fans. I mean, fans don't know, and the fans are the ones that get jerked around in this. And then I don't like how the owners do this and then how the league does this. They make the fans actually to be the bad guys in this one, and you don't know what to do because I think a fan is like, why do I have to pay more money for you? You're the billionaire. You're the one who decided to buy the $1 billion franchise because you're a billionaire. I don't make $1 billion, but then I'm being asked to supplement you for your for-profit only business. I can't use that building any other time other than when I pay to go and watch a game there. I hate that game they play. I think it's why everyone up here was so appreciative of what the Kraken group did because they bought the arena, they developed it. There wasn't a single dime charge to anybody here. Now, when you go to the game, are things expensive? Well, yeah, it's really expensive. I think it would have been that way no matter what. But it's I dislike that game. It pits fans in a real uncomfortable spot. And I just, for someone who worked down there, lived down there, I know how important that team is. We've always had this debate. I will fight to the death on this one. I would never accept the Blazers up here. I would never want it. I would never want them to relocate to Seattle. And I just hope it all works out there. What do you got? You just put this up there about an hour ago. What do you got in the latest Pac-12, MGM, and the basketball championships happen in Vegas? Yeah, look, Pac-12 is in negotiations with MGM. Right now, I am told they want their men's and women's basketball tournaments in Las Vegas 2027 and beyond. T-Mobile Arena is booked right now with the Big Ten. The Big Ten women are there this next year, this next March, and the men in 2028. But MGM Grand Garden Arena or the Michelob Ultra Arena look like potential landing spots for the Pac-12. I think they want to be in Vegas with the basketball. They also are looking at football schedule release. Puck, I reported today it's coming out Wednesday. There may be a little Wednesday after dark release, I'm being told. But I wrote about this this morning. I have all the details on it. But week 13 of the 2026 Pac-12 football schedule will be a flex week. So there will be week 12, they will decide, hey, who's playing in the conference championship game. Week 13, there are going to be 4 teams that are designated as home teams, 4 other teams designated as road teams. And they're going to just say, we reserve the right to shuffle those matchups. There's a potential that they could say, hey, it would be advantageous to shuffle the matchups because college football playoff rankings may matter there. Like you want a better team, stronger strength of schedule. They may shuffle them because, hey, the matchup in week 13 actually is the matchup in the championship game. So we don't want the redundancy of these teams playing each other twice in 2 weeks. So that week 13 is going to be very interesting, and they will hold that as a 6-day window, Puck. So they won't know until 6 days before that game, potentially, who's going to be playing in it. So to maximize in order to get another team in. That's why they're doing this.
Or to make sure their conference champion is best positioned. Let's just hypothetically say,
I got you.
Boise State's in the driver's seat.
Oh.
And, they're scheduled to play Texas State in week 13 and Texas State's in last place. The conference could say, no, let's have you play the second place team. We want to beef the strength of schedule up a little bit. Yeah.
That makes sense. Last thing, North Dakota State going to the Mountain West, $20 million to join. Do you say to yourself, you sit back, I ask you, would you rather have North Dakota State in the new Pac-12 or Texas State?
I would take Texas State, not from a competition standpoint, but because you're in Texas. I get what the Mountain West is doing, though. This is a defensive play. It's a strength in numbers play. Gloria Nevarez doesn't want to lose another school and then get down. Once you get down around 8 schools, you start to wonder. She has now 10 football playing schools, so I think it's smart. But North Dakota State, there's no more CFP money. You're coming in as an FCS school. They're going to pay a big fee to come into that conference. It'll be a one-time infusion of cash for everybody in that conference. And then you got to deal with North Dakota State. That is a good program that was having trouble scheduling games against FBS schools that don't want to play them because they could come in there and win. From a competition standpoint, North Dakota State is better than Texas State. I think they are. But they don't get you into the state of Texas. And that's where you want to be if you're Boise State or San Diego State in particular, so you can go recruit that state. So I get what North Dakota State is doing. I don't think they're going to be the last FCS school to try to buy their way in. I think keep an eye on South Dakota State now. Keep an eye on Sac State. The numbers are out there, though. It's not just $20 million to get yourself in there. There is an upkeep of about $10 million a year that you have to invest in football. This is a substantial investment that North Dakota State is making. But I kind of view that they said, hey, this is the time. There's going to be big changes in football come 2031 or so. Time to get in under the wire and see if we can make that group of 60 or 80 schools that play for big-time football.
There he is, John Canzano. Read all of his work, johncanzano.com. His video's up on YouTube. Just search John Canzano. What do we got in the fire? What's coming out later?
Well, right now you can check out the full details on the Pac-12 going to Vegas for the conference tournaments, the conference championship game. It's going to be a home site in football. And then all the schedule release stuff. If you want it a day early, I've got it.
Okay, there he is. Thank you, John. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, buddy.
There he is, John Canzano, johncanzano.com. I may have jumped the gun on next week. I don't know if we're doing shows next week. Yeah, when you work for yourself, you can kind of make your own schedule. It's midwinter breaks. Somebody might need a break. All right, we transition. Let's go back to the NFL. Yeah, again, sad day. It's a sad day we get to regularly talk to this guy. We've been talking to him all NFL season, every single week from The Ringer. Danny Kelly, as always, our NFL coverage brought to you by the one and only Georgetown Brewery.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Danny Kelly, it's a bittersweet day there from The Ringer. It's the last time that at least weekly that we will talk. I know I'm going to catch up with you leading up to the NFL draft and some free agency stuff, but I know you need a break. You've been grinding hard, man.
It's a long season. I think
it is
like 22 weeks or something like that. 22 weekends of football. Haven't had a real weekend in a while, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, just kind of sit back and do nothing.
It's also very nice to get a weekend after winning a Super Bowl.
Oh,
is there a better feeling?
No, it's just like I just keep watching more and more highlights.
Yeah.
Can't get enough. I'm waiting. When is NFL Films like releasing the whole like behind the scenes look at the Super Bowl? When does that come out?
Slow-mo stuff, probably like in a couple of weeks, a week or two maybe.
I need all of it. I want the whole package, hour-long recap of the game inside the locker room, all of it.
God.
Can't get enough. It was great. When did you know it was over?
Honestly, I felt pretty good at halftime. I mean, 9-0 at half. They're in absolute control. Anything kind of can happen with turnovers and things. When I really started celebrating was when it was 29-7, though. like I felt pretty good when it was 22-7. I think Myers hit a field goal or middle. Let's see here. It was 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I'm like, yeah, we're good. And then they did the interception / sack fumble return touchdown. I was like, okay, we can start celebrating. That was with 4 minutes left in the game.
And can we please change that?
That was
why is that not a sack? Why? I mean,
it's like
clearly is gonna, if he doesn't release the ball, right?
Yeah.
Or comes out, he's going down. That's a sack. Can we not count that? The fact they took it off,
I know,
because it wasn't a fumble.
Wouldn't he have been wouldn't it be the MVP if that's counted as a sack fumble, or if that's, I don't know, maybe not, but
well, it would have tied the record. It would have tied the record for most sacks by a defense in a Super Bowl. And they robbed us. They took it away, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I'll live. I think it is funny. I was thinking about this during the game, actually. It feels like we really kind of predicted what would happen. You and I did. I think
yes,
it just felt
to a T.
I felt in my heart that the Seahawks were gonna dominate. I guessed a low score just because I thought it would end up being kind of like that the 49ers game in whatever it was, week 18, where it was 13-3. I thought it was gonna be kind of like that type of game. But ultimately, the defense did more, and they got 3 takeaways. They scored off of those. But yeah, obviously in the first half, 9-0. I think for the majority of the game, it felt like that. I mean, going into the fourth quarter, it was 12-0. So I felt like we kind of hit it. We kind of nailed exactly what kind of game it was going to be.
And we don't get anything right. And I think the times that in this business you actually get something right, take a freaking bow.
Yeah.
You get that hand out and start patting yourself on the back, because I'll be honest with you, I get 99 out of 100 things wrong.
Right, same.
I don't like pointing the wrong things out. Every once in a while, I want to say, hey, we got this one right. It just was exactly right. It was very reminiscent of the end of the regular season game against the Niners. It was a slow drip domination, and that's what it was. They were in control
the whole time.
I knew it was over at the coin toss. I told this to I'm being serious. So I said this to Jim Moore. When they came out and I saw the size difference between the captains, if you can find the TV copy, I want you to watch it again.
Yeah.
And see who they roll out there. Look like a bunch of junior high kids. Yeah. We roll out there, we look like just mammoths. And I'm like, this doesn't look right.
Dogs. We got some dogs on that team, man.
And then when Brandy Carlisle did America the Beautiful, I'm like,
it's over.
It's over. She's there. It's great.
Did you get a little nervous when the Mac Collins touchdown, 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter?
Well, sure. I do root for my favorite college team every Saturday called Washington State, and a Mariners fan. So yeah, I'm kind of predispositioned to know that maybe we're going to fall in the end. So yeah. A little. I get, I think the sphincter tightened up a tiny bit there late in the game, but overall, yeah. I mean, look, I the one thing I was very confident about going into this game was that the Seahawks defense was going to make it very hard on the Patriots offense. That was the one thing I kind of knew. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen on offense. I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball. They were able to run the ball very well, by the way, which I think was a huge variable in this game, because Sam Darnold was under pressure basically from start to finish. So running the ball and Kenneth Walker winning the MVP, I think made sense, because that was just a crucial part of this game. But I knew, I didn't know what was going to happen on offense, but I knew the defense was going to absolutely suffocate that Patriots offense. I was like, they've played some good defenses coming in, but they haven't seen the Seahawks. They haven't seen a defense like the Seahawks. It's amazing to me that they actually made it to the Super Bowl with that left side of that offensive line.
Yeah.
It really is a testament.
It's a crazy run by them.
To them, and May and their defense and whatever else they did to get there. Or maybe it's just a commentary on how crappy the AFC was. Because that's the worst offensive line, the left side of a line, in the history of the Super Bowl. I mean, the history.
It was a massive disadvantage.
Come on, there has to be no offensive line that the Super Bowl has ever pitted two teams against each other that had a left side like that was so bad.
I would agree. I think that's probably true. I mean, I didn't go back through all the lines, but
you didn't do it.
I think that they said this was the only team in Super Bowl history with 2 starting rookies on the left side of the line.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, it makes sense.
I couldn't. My pants almost came down when Riley Mills like
Just
he's
bowled him
Reggie
over.
White and just took that kid
Yeah.
and sacked him and the quarterback. Riley Mills has played in how many games this year? 4?
I think, yeah. I mean, if that, yeah. I can't remember another play that he made this season. Obviously,
That was his first sack.
Yeah.
The future's bright for that kid.
I know that he's been in the rotation a little bit, but obviously that's a good time to show up and absolutely just
that is old man
rush
strength
him into the quarterback. So great. I think, you know what, and I felt good about the defense coming in, as I said, but when I think it was DeMarcus Lawrence, very first drive, maybe just completely whipped Campbell and just got right into it. He didn't get to him quite fast enough. May did a good job of getting rid of the football, but I was like, at that point, I was like, it's going to be a long day for May. It's going to be a long day for May. And he ended up having one of the, he salvaged it in garbage time in terms of numbers, but that was one of the worst performances from a quarterback in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't like about the fourth quarter, because when you look back at the box score and like, nah, this doesn't tell the real story, and you'll remember it. But I mean, they went into that. I think the fourth quarter, they had 75 or 78 total yards. I
mean, going into the fourth quarter, or at least very late, I wrote this down, very late in the third quarter, they had more punts than completions. 7 punts, 6 completions going into the fourth quarter. I mean, that is utter domination. I think the Seahawks, and they trust their defense, and they're not going to be super aggressive. There was a couple of drives where they kind of got backed up early on and then sort of just surrendered. And I think that's fine, because the way that the defense was playing, and by the way, the way that the special teams was playing,
oh my goodness,
winning the field position game for like 75-80% of that game, they won the field position game.
Dixon had, everyone's going to love the punt, and I don't remember the time or the score. Maybe you will remember it. Maybe someone on our chat will remember it. It was in the second half. Maybe they were up 12-0 at this point, but he pinned him down at the 1 or inside, like at the 2 or something, which was a great punt. There's a one before that, though. I think it's like either 3-0 or 6-0. Seahawks are kind of backed up, right? Because that was the one thing, at least in the first half, like field position was being won by New England,
right?
Early on, starting like inside the 10, and just you didn't want to. You were a little nervous. He had a punt from back in there inside their 10 that he pinned them in this perfect right kicked punt that hit him at the 33, but he positioned it where it just like the guy had to catch it and he went right out of bounds. And I'm like,
yep,
that is so good. That is so unbelievably good. It
was critical. The punting was critical. And the one that I remember, and we talked about, the sphincter factor kind of came in there early in the fourth quarter. The Patriots hit that big bomb to Mac Hollins. Actually, they hit two straight big plays to Mac Hollins, which in those 2 plays they got more yards passing than they had previous to that play. Then they go down and score. It goes from 19-0. I was like, man, I want the first Super Bowl shutout. I want the shutout.
Everybody did.
I was blood in the water. And they got that game. They got that play, made it interesting in the fourth quarter. But then the Seahawks came back and went 3 and out. And I was like, oh, not feeling great about this.
Here it comes. Yeah.
And then Dixon, 55-yard punt down at the 4.
That's the one. Yeah, you're right. That's the one we're talking about.
It looked like it for a second. It looked like they downed it at the 1, but it was where the guy touched it first, kind of like bat it back. So it was down at the 4, and I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, they're gonna have to go 96 yards. No fucking chance. We're fine. And after that, that was the drive where May had a couple nice plays, and then he just threw like a terrible interception.
Right.
And at that point, I was like, okay, we're good.
How about the one? How about I know it wasn't that drive, but the one where they scored where Matt Collins, where Collins got the touchdown before that. How about the one they completed over the middle? There's like 5 defenders.
I mean, that was either the greatest or most lucky pass I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
To me, that's such a great microcosm of how hard it is to play the Seahawks, because that's the type of play you have to make to get an explosive pass against the Seahawks. I mean, there were 6 guys right in a row, like 6 guys right in that area, and he just fit it in, like the only place you could get it with those 6 guys. And then, look, the next drive, he tried to do it again, and the Seahawks easily picked it off.
Tell me your heart, though, didn't stop on that first drive for the Seahawks when Darnold threw out to the left to Barner.
First throw. I think my like heart went in my stomach or whatever the expression is. I was like, Jesus, like man, because he was skittish to start the game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of juice. There's a lot of nerves. I'm sure he was thinking, all the different like things that could go wrong. You don't want to flip the coin. That was a perfect pass. He could have put it anywhere else, or that was maybe like a pick six, legitimately.
Oh, or even the one later to Cup down the sideline.
There was some shakiness to start, and I think credit to Darnold. Obviously, look, the stat of the year, the most important stat of the year, and it's because we harped on it. He must have heard it. He must have heard us talking about it. No turnovers in the playoffs. No turnovers in the playoffs. That's why they won. I mean, that's a big part of why they won. It's not why they won, but
and I felt really good for him. I mean, again, he's never going to be one to really start going really deep self-reflection about it. He kind of opened the door a little bit. I think it was on the ESPN set with Berman, where I think I've watched the clip about 1 million times now, where he thanks his parents. It's about the closest he's ever got to getting kind of emotional.
Right. He's very even keeled.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm here because my parents never stopped believing it. And then he really just does not cry.
Yeah.
Cry. I've been in a fetal, when I've watched the first 10 times in a fetal position. Are you kidding me? All I'm asking myself is, can my kids, 10, 15 years say that about me?
Yeah.
Probably not.
You never know. They might
Dad, you never believed in us.
Winning a Super Bowl, anything's possible.
I think for a guy to go through what he's gone through on a personal level with, the expectations and, where he went to his first team and he bounces around to go from the label of first round bust now to be the first quarterback in a heavy NFL quarterback class when he came out with the likes of Mayfield himself, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
I mean, think about that.
Josh Rosen, I think, is in there. I'm missing
maybe
somebody. No, he is. Who am I missing? There's somebody else I'm missing. Allen, Jackson, Mayfield, him.
Was there a second rounder? It was Carr.
I'm just thinking of first round guys. I don't know, but you think
it was Mayfield, Darnold. There's Mayfield, Allen, Darnold, and Lamar.
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy. Lamar's won multiple MVPs.
Yeah,
he's the first one to go to a Super Bowl, not to mention win one.
Yeah.
He's also the first. I mean, look, he's the first quarterback to go to win a Super Bowl on his fifth team. I mean, I think the most before that was his second team.
Yeah,
I think there was like a couple of guys who were on their second or third team. Fifth team, this never happens. This is insane. This is one of the craziest Cinderella stories of all time.
And he's young. That's the thing. I don't even think he has scratched the surface, Danny, of what type of quarterback he can be. He's 28.
I mean, he has all the tools. That's never been an issue. The tools are there, but now he's got the mental.
Now he's got a little bit of confidence, a little bit of juice now that he's
got the monkey off his back from the whole, meltdown last year and what he did in the playoffs, not turning the ball over.
And he could be on a real run here.
Yeah. It really feels like he changed to me. Like I was talking about this on our show. There was a couple of instances in this game where the old Darnold would have done a panic throw. He would have done a jump throw. Sure. He would have forced it into coverage. Instead, he kind of just ate it and, scrambled around. He did some great job. He did a great job. This is like unsung, key to the game is his ability to avoid a couple of sacks in this game where he was like scooting around in the pocket, avoiding guys, getting rid of the football, even if it was an incompletion, it was better than taking a sack. And so, yeah, he was nails. And you can see the way his teammates react to him and love him.
And I'm gonna say something that when I heard it at the time, I was laughing. I was like, "Good God!" And I know the person that said it, and I'm like, "Come on, man, you cannot be serious." But now that I sit back and I'm thinking big picture now, I'm thinking in the next what he can potentially do here, because what is his window from his prime goes to what 35 ish?
Yeah, and a guy like him who has a good arm and doesn't need his athleticism as much, maybe more than that, honestly.
Okay.
We see guys playing to 38, 39,
so
40.
I'm going to give him credit now for what I'm about to say because, and God, you want to talk about getting way ahead of myself? God,
let's do it.
God. I'm listening to the pregame show because I'm in the car. And I love Paul Moyer. And Paul Moyer brings up Sam Darnold about, hey, if he wins this and who knows what happens in the next few years, do we start talking Hall of Fame? And I'm like, Paul, Jesus, man, we freaking win the game first, and then I mean, come on, man,
Hall of Fame, wow,
what the hell's wrong with you?
Okay,
and then I started to think about it a little bit, and I'll ask you,
okay,
Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame for what? For what he did with did the Arizona last couple of years cemented, or did he go in the Hall of Fame because of the Rams?
The Rams.
Okay,
I mean,
it was a 3-year run, Danny. That's it.
Yeah.
It was 3 years for Kurt Warner, 28 to 30, in which he put up, 41 touchdowns, 13 picks, 21-18. His
21-18?
Yeah. And then in 2001, his last good year in St. Louis, he went 4,800 yards, 36 touchdowns, 22 interceptions, Danny.
Greatest show on turf. He had 22 picks.
22 picks.
Different game back then.
Okay. And then injuries, boom, right? He does it. He spends 2 more years in St. Louis. He's cast aside. The story book ending is over. Remember, he goes to the Giants for the 1 year. I think he plays quarterback for, I think for Eli, right?
I know. Giants?
Yeah, he's on the Giants for 1 year, doesn't do anything. Goes to Arizona. First couple years in Arizona, nothing. And it wasn't until he was 37, he has 4,500 yards. I think that's the year they go to the Super Bowl, right? Again, 30 touchdowns, 14 picks.
Was that against the Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's in the Hall of Fame because of the story, right?
Right.
Bagging groceries.
Cinderella.
Yeah. Arena football. Trent Green gets hurt, wins the Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame for the Rams. That's 3 years. This guy has already done that in 2 years. Because you got to go back to Minnesota, despite how it ended with him.
Mm-hmm.
The playoff loss. His numbers last year were MVP.
Right. He was very, very good.
Okay. He did it the same thing this year. And if he does this for the next 4 years, 3 years, they win another one.
I mean, if they win 2, he could go in.
Ginger Cuz is putting on a yellow jacket.
Yeah.
Think about that for a sec. It is not out of, and you know what? And when Paul Moyer said that, I'm like, Paul, are you drinking heavily in the morning? But he's right.
This is getting way too far ahead of ourselves.
I know, but
You're
that's
right,
what the beauty of what we do.
Yeah.
We get way ahead of ourselves.
I want to compare Russell Wilson versus Sam Darnold career stats. I'm trying to look that up right now.
Do it. Let's get crazy. Let's get weird. Because I'm just telling you, in that 3-year stretch for Kurt Warner, per season was 4,200 yards, 18 interceptions, and 32 touchdowns. That's the stretch of why he's in the Hall of Fame. It's not what he did maybe at the end and that 1 year with Arizona, it cemented it for everyone. But it was that 3-year stretch. I'm just saying Sam Darnold, he's got a chance to do that next year and do it again because he really is. And because think about it, for Warner, just like Darnold. Now, same could be said for Darnold. He could fall off the cliff after 30 because that's what happened to Kurt. 9-30, put these 3 great seasons, then he gets hurt and he goes away for a while until late in his mid-30s he resurrects himself a little bit with Arizona. But
I think get him a second Super Bowl and we'll start talking. All right. Steve Young wasn't really a starter until he was 30.
Yeah.
He won three Super Bowls. He's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, if he gets a second one, then we can start talking because I think if he doesn't get another one, he's probably not going to Hall of Fame regardless. But
I don't like where your head's at.
I mean, come on, let's be realistic. Let's get that second Super Bowl next year.
Okay.
And then let's start building it. I'm going to start doing some side-by-side comparisons and things like that.
Let's see, it's 2 years, 30 touchdowns, 13 picks, averaging 4,100 yards.
I'm all for it. I love this conversation.
I think it's again, I know it's a ways away and it's far-fetched. I'm presenting it as a possibility because it comes back full circle with this team. You look at who they potentially may lose and not lose here. I think this group is in a better position than the last group to try and become a dynasty, to win multiple Super Bowls. I think they're in a better space for a couple of things. One, contracts for their top players line up better.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be forced to pay Sam Darnold a ton of money because he's under contract. So they don't have to do anything like they did with Russell. And I love that team. That team was great. And it will go down as probably the best team ever. And I think it should.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a massive amount of egos on that football team that really fractured that dynasty because they couldn't all play along together.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it because they got jealous of the credit that others were getting.
Yep.
Maybe it happens to this group. I don't know, but I just don't see it.
Doesn't feel like it.
They don't have that. They've got egos, right? But not to the level that those guys had egos.
I mean, the celebration for them winning a Super Bowl was rather muted. It was
Kinda
like
tame.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we knew we were going to win. I feel like they celebrated before the game even started. Because they kind of just knew that they were going to dominate that game.
Weren't getting out of control in the locker room. You know,
they were like
a little bit, but
yeah, it was very, I saw somebody say this like almost nonplussed that they won the Super Bowl. It was kind of bizarre. But I said the same thing. I think, the Legion of Boom era Seahawks were, I think, at their peak, a scarier, better team,
right?
But extremely volatile. It was like, we're getting a team together. It was like a superhero movie. And, in most of those movies, somebody ends up kind of like going the other way and creating drama. And that was like exactly what happened with the Seahawks. Obviously, losing the Super Bowl, the way in which they lost it, such a unique way to lose the Super Bowl. That type of shit will never happen again, hopefully. That kind of tore apart what was a loosely held alliance between a bunch of, very, very big personality people.
Because you had a defensive coach that clearly they were there because of what he created defensively, but those defensive players felt like he was favoring the quarterback.
Right.
The quarterback was the teacher's pet. So when that Super Bowl ended that way, it was over. It had fractured everything because the defensive players lost trust in the head coach.
And the offensive players did too, probably. I listened to Luke Wilson did an interview on Radio Row last week. I apologize. I can't remember.
What was he pitching?
I don't know. Something funny, something Canadian probably. But yeah, it was, he was talking about how after that game, he said, I've never felt worse in my life. And I've never been in a more depressing locker room. Like that was the worst loss imaginable. And then he goes, immediately, I was not mad. I was not sad. I was really confused. I was like, why did we do that play? First of all, why didn't we run? And then second, why did we pass? And then why did we decide to do that pass? He's just like, that kind of thing. All the teammates are probably doing the same exact thing. Like, what was the decision process in that? Why would we do that? And that tore apart the fabric. So to get back to the point though, like I thought that, first of all, we talked about it before that game even happened. This is kind of a delicate dance that Pete Carroll is doing, keeping these guys all together. Like you got Doug Baldwin openly, sort of undermining Russell Wilson half the time. You got Doug Baldwin and Golden Tate and Russell Wilson, all the rumors about those two having personal issues in their personal lives,
having key parties on the weekends.
I won't mention exactly what the rumor was, but everybody, if you know, you know.
Sure.
Golden Tate getting punched by Percy Harvin in the face the day before the Super Bowl.
It was a high volatile group.
It was just like, everybody is vibrating at a different frequency on that team. And this team, the Seahawks team now, I agree with you 100%. I said this on my podcast yesterday. They feel way more stable. This is a team. You could see, obviously, a million things can happen. There's a million variables in every season, but this team feels very stable to me, and I'm excited about that because the personalities aren't out of control. It's all like their whole catchphrase, mob ties, mission over bullshit. They're not worried about. The way I said it yesterday was the Seahawks, the Legion of Boom Seahawks loudly demanded your respect. This team just knows they have your respect. They don't care. They don't actually care if you respect them.
I think it's the difference in both are fun and both can be right.
Mm-hmm.
It is the 13 team is Deion Sanders scoring a touchdown and doing a Deion celebration. Right?
Yeah.
That's their group. This group is Barry Sanders. Scores a touchdown, hands the ball to the ref.
Yeah, totally.
To me, that's what it, and again,
Except
both
for
can,
Wallet. But yeah.
well, yeah, right. Well, again, he won't be on the team next year, so he'll be fine. But I think that's a key difference of this team. I've referenced this a couple times with these guys. To me, this is like they come across to me as like a really good, dominant high school football team where they're all buddies and they've grown up together since childhood, and they've been going to the weekends to the Danielson's home, or to the Leonard Williams home for a potluck. It totally. Just they have that
all their kids
on the
play together.
Bus vibe, yeah. And I just think it has a chance to be more sustainable to what you said, and I don't think we're going to see a player on this team get injured. Now, I could be way wrong on this one. Let's see a player getting injured on this team who's in the last year of his contract, being carted off a field, flipping off his head coach.
Right.
I just or as great as Earl was, I mean, this is a guy that's in a locker room of the opposing team saying, "Come get me." Like I don't see Devin Witherspoon doing it, or Julian Love, or Kobe Bryant, or any of these guys, or
it's not their personality,
or Michael Bennett. Whoever the version of Michael Bennett on this team is. Leonard Williams saying, "Well, I don't really know what the message anymore for Mike McDonald because I'm just reading my book in a team meeting." I don't get that vibe. So
I know that. Look, I covered the Seahawks during that period of time at field goals, and it was the greatest time to be writing a blog about a team because every day it was like a freaking reality show. Yeah. Every single day there was something happening. I coined the expression as like this Seahawks circus, and I had like a circus rating that I would do on Twitter once a week about like how many big tops are we at right now, like in terms of the drama. This is an absolute circus. There's a reason I did that. It's because that was the most drama team. It was like high school relationships. It was just like, good God, can we go like 2 days without something crazy happening with this team? You didn't see any of that. I haven't seen one thing happen on this Seahawks, the current iteration of the Seahawks team.
Well, they got rid of, and then you think about it, they got rid of guys that were like that created, whether it was Geno Smith with his cryptic tweets and social media. I mean, I don't even think, maybe he has a burner account. I don't think Sam Darnold's on social media. I think
he's too busy checking his bird app.
Well, that is actually, when I saw that story, I downloaded it.
Good,
because I kind of like that.
We have a birdhouse thing that has like a little camera on it.
I like it's great. And then from DK with all of the off the field. So listen, I thought it was a mistake to get rid of DK. I wanted to keep DK.
So did I.
And you know what? It was wrong, and they made the right choice. They've got more intel than we do. Mm-hmm. And my biggest concern going into the year was, God, I don't know if JSN's the number one wide receiver. That was a pretty good take.
I know.
He's unbelievable. But see, that look at the counter to that. And I think it was Dugar pointed out in his story, or maybe it was just with me. Their attitude is not to like call up all these people in the past who have doubted them, or to go after all these guys who have said stuff, talk shit about. I mean, listen, that last team had that Collins guy with his stupid Warriors crap with the bottles. That last team would have had bottles on the field going in that guy's face. And the only comment that has happened since the Super Bowl, I think it was Eamon Worry just retweeted something, or, where are the Warriors at? And that's it. But to Mike's point was, like, JSN could have been in the locker room, which was the 49ers locker room, and gone up and take a picture in front of Lenore's locker.
Right.
And said something.
Yeah.
Now maybe he has since, but he didn't. Like, you don't look at JSN like for being the best wide receiver in the league. He's not a diva. He's not a look at me guy. He's not getting out of a black Escalade shit face like Puka Nacua and can't walk.
Right. Puka, my God, this guy, he's kind of an idiot.
I don't know. It's I just think it's a team that's set up, and we'll see what they do in the offseason. I would assume that we all agree that Walker's the priority to get him done. Mm-hmm. Where do you think? I mean, is he in that $36 million, $9 million range ish? More, less?
Probably more.
More.
I don't know. I can't. I need to look at like the numbers in terms of like who are how much they're getting paid. But yeah, I mean, you have to kind of he earned a big payday. I mean,
yes.
There was nobody that played better than him over the last month of the year in terms of running backs or skill players. I mean, he was actually, I would like to go look back at the numbers in terms of him versus JSN. Like he might have been more important than JSN down the stretch. I mean, JSN certainly had a great, last part of the season, but he wasn't doing the numbers that he did early in the season. Right. Yeah. You could argue that having that run game and having Kenneth Walker sort of emerge as this bell cow, tackle breaking, explosive play creating back that I think we all thought he could be, was one of the most important developments of the second half of the season, because it helped take some pressure off of Sam Darnold. That was why part of the reason he was turning the ball over so much was he was like, we don't have a run game. I need to like push the ball down the field. So yeah, they're going to have to pay him. I think he's going to earn a big payday. Especially in the way that the NFL is kind of going right now. The cap is going up a massive amount, so that's going to be helpful. But I think he's worth it. Honestly, I think he's worth the money. I don't want to go into next season with, Charbonnet coming off an ACL and some rando, guy kind of like as the lead back. I think it's important to have a guy like Kenneth Walker, who we saw so many times in the Super Bowl and NFC Championship game, dead to rights in the backfield, and he still made something happen. He still created explosive plays out of those plays. I think that's like a really important variable to have for your team. It's going to cost you some money, but I think that's okay.
All right, when's the next important date for you? You take a little break. We'll take. What do we got?
I mean,
the draft?
I'm freaking getting off with you, and I'm studying the draft. We got the combine in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It never ends.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's catch up again.
Mm-hmm.
Get like maybe a combine preview from you.
Okay.
Or we can do it post. How about we do it post combine?
Sure, sounds good.
So let's do a post combine, and then let's.
Yeah, because the coaches and the GMs will talk there too, so we'll have a lot of fodder.
Are you going to go there?
I'm going to be there. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll have all the shows up on the Ringer. I'm going to see on Netflix after I finish Ozarks.
Right. I think it's just Ozark, but yeah,
it is just Ozark.
I know because I was an extra in that, or I'm going to be. Yeah.
You're going to be an extra in it. You're going to be the extra. What's the other one that I like?
We're joking about this, but my co-host Craig Horlbeck is actually an extra in several movies.
Really?
He spent his 20s.
He looks like an actor, though.
Yeah. He's a good-looking guy, good-looking guy. He's very funny. He can act. He's an extra in one of the Fast and Furious movies. He's an extra in, I don't even know, some Emily Dickinson movie. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, he spent his 20s, trying to get into movies and stuff. So he's been in a few movies as an extra. Did
you make a bet with your boss?
I did not. Oh. I will say he felt like he got confident that the Patriots were going to win. So it was nice to see the Seahawks defense show up and do what I thought they would do. But no, we didn't make a bet. And he was, I felt bad for him. He was very gracious. He sent me a nice text after the game. And so bummer for the Patriots, but obviously great for the Seahawks and super
great
happy
for the Seahawks. It's been a pleasure. It's a blast having you on every week.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do it again next year. And I know our audience just loves seeing you and listening to you, and just great to keep this relationship going that we've had for many, 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 many years, Danny. Absolutely. I appreciate you doing it. I know you're extremely busy throughout the week doing all that other stuff for the Ringer, which a Ringer NFL draft show and fantasy show and all the new stuff you guys got at Netflix. So you're very busy. I took a lot of your time today. Let's catch up again post combine and the pre-draft. Okay.
It's my pleasure. Seriously. I really enjoy it. And I like all the tangents we go on. We start talking about like high school basketball and shit like that. So, but yeah, no, it's my pleasure. And yeah, let's talk after the combine. Okay. What a season. It still hasn't really sunk in for me. I mean, the Mariners were a couple outs from going to the World Series. The Seahawks win the Super Bowl. We're living in the glory days. Let's soak that in. You know what I mean? Like this is crazy what we're experiencing.
Beautiful. All right, Danny. No more text from me from a little while saying good for tomorrow. See you, Danny. Thank you.
Good. See ya.
There he is, Danny Kelly. Danny B. Kelly on social media, senior writer for Ringer NFL show, their fantasy football show, their draft show. He and his boys, they do just a great job. They're fun dudes. If you've never watched it or listened to it, give it a watch, give it a listen. They're just a great group of three dudes who love football, and they're probably like you guys. They just want to make each other laugh the whole time, and they just do a really good job talking about the league all the time. And you can now watch them on Netflix as well. Our weekly appearance talking NFL, all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Offer, Rogers Pilsner, Georgetown's Tavern Beer, Tasting Room Beer Garden, open, ladies and gentlemen, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. And give me an opportunity to thank all of our sponsors. I know we do it at the end of the show, but I just want to say it here one more time, especially with this week that we just had, or this past week, which is very busy, right? I mean, a lot going on. I mean, you're doing a lot of shows. You're trying to give as much content out there as that we possibly can, but it's been a long few months, great few months, not complaining, but you're coming off after baseball, which you're grinding the teams in the playoffs. You go right into the NFL season, and I could not do this out every single day without, first of all, number one, all of the great guests that we have, and they have been awesome for day one, like Danny and John and just I'm not going to name them all, but they're on every week and they do it and they're excited to do it, but it wouldn't be possible to do this every single day, and especially what we did all football season without just all of our sponsors. And Flat Stick Pub, Andy Largent. Andy is just, the best. I always feel like I call him and text him, and hey, you in again this year? Do you want to do this? What can we do? It's up to you. And I'm always expecting Andy, when he picks up the phone, to go, hey, man, this isn't it. Not doing it anymore. And I would be like, no problem. I'm just going to mention you anyways because you've been the best. So big thanks to Andy, and go visit Flat Stick Pub. You got any big event coming up? You're trying to look for, get a group of guys together, gals together, your business together for anything. I can't stress enough what a great spot Flat Stick Pub is for large group events. They've got the infrastructure, they've got the staff, they've got the food, they've got the games, they got everything at all their locations. They got private rooms you can rent. It's this best there at Flat Stick Pub, and they have been great supporters here of Puck Sports and myself from day one. Georgetown Brewery, great guys. It starts at the top with the two boys, the leaders of that crew, Manny and Roger, and countless others from that brewery who, again, never hesitate when I ask for help and support, and they've been with us from day one. So thank you to those guys. To Andrew Herzog, from day one, he's been here. Zog's on Fox Island. You're down in the South End. Great spot to watch games. Great layout, great beer, great wine, great entertainment. So thank you to Andrew Herzog. And then Jamie Hartley. Jamie and Andrew, just two of salt of the earth guys. And if you ever get a chance, again, go down to Zog's, do it. If you ever need any insurance questions, help with insurance, Hartley and Hartley Insurance is going to take care of you. Contact Jamie. Tell him you know me, because we do. We know each other. We talk every single day, right? They're going to take care of you. The entire crew at Limbach Lumber, the best. All of your lumber needs. Trent and the crew over at Restoration One, big thanks. Again, all season long of being here with Puck Sports. Just wanted to acknowledge them. We will acknowledge them again at the end of the show, but just wanted to get out one more time. All right. What else we got going on? Again, tomorrow we will attempt to go live from the parade at someplace on the route. As for next week, TBD of whether or not going to have shows. We got midwinter break, and we've been kind of going hard here for the last few months. We may take next week off, but we'll wait and see. Maybe we'll do just a few shows. I don't know yet. But to kind of recharge the batteries, make this transition right we go from football, even though football is never truly over. I get it. We make this transition from football into baseball. And again, all of our guests, they're all coming back, or we'll have the best baseball coverage you can possibly get. So just keep out a lookout for the schedule coming up next week. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, before we get to On This Day, brought to you by Hive Social, Pitchers and catchers reporting today, by the way, there for the WBC. So, and the Mariners got a bunch of players that are reporting. We have 16 players involved. Dominic Canzano, Miles Mastrobuoni for Italy, Josh Naylor for Canada, even though these aren't pitchers and catchers, but these are the guys that are playing in the WBC. Matt Brash is not going for Canada. He's not going to pitch. Cal Raleigh, of course, is reported. So is Gabe Spire. They're playing for Team USA. Julio's playing for the DR. Randy and Munoz playing for Mexico, and Bizardo is pitching for Venezuela. Pool play starts, my God, it's almost here, less than a month, March 5th, and the WBC Championships March 17th there in Miami. Other notable dates here for the Yams. Pitchers and catchers will report tomorrow. All players report February 16th, and then the first full squad workout will be a week from today. And then their first Cactus League game is it really? It's in 10 days. Their first Cactus League game is February 20th. And opening day is March 26th against the Cleveland Guardians. My God. Talk about just being right around the corner. All right, on this day, February 10th, and of course, on this day, brought to you by Hive Social. We'll be active tomorrow on Hive Social, so if you don't have it, download it today. From the iOS store and also Google Play. Find out where I'm at, where everyone's going to be at tomorrow. There for the parade. You're trying to find out where people are, what's going on, what to know, what's going on in your neighborhood, what's going on with your friends. Hive Social is the app for you. Just download Hive Social. That's HYV Social, the official social meetup app for Puck Sports, not just for sports fans, for everyone. It is free. Get Hive Social on iOS and Google Play. If you don't have an account, get one today. I'm Puck Sports on Hive Social. Find me and come by and say hello. Just search for the Gold Van. It's literally license plate says Goldie. All right. It's pretty obvious what it is. All right. On this day, February 10th, a couple of things passed on and some happy birthdays. 1969, probably, you can make an argument one of the best, if not the best basketball player in college basketball history. Pete Maravich dropped 66 for LSU. You got to keep in mind that there is no three-point line when Pete Maravich played. And Dale Brown? Yeah, Dale Brown, the former coach of LSU, actually did this exercise about a month ago where he tracked of all the shots where Maravich shot from, what he would have truly averaged if there was a three-point line. And I think it was about 52 points a game. But Pistol Pete would have averaged. Just incredible. 1989, a couple of guys connected with the Seattle Supersonics go in to the Hall of Fame. Now, Casey Jones goes into the Hall of Fame because he was the head coach of the Boston Celtics, but later coached the Supersonics. He was the first coach that had Sean Kemp early on, Gary Payton, those guys. Also, former Sonics coach and player, the great Lenny Wilkins, both elected to the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame in 1989. Happy birthday going out. Speaking of the Olympics, the Winter Olympics are on right now, but the Summer Games, one of the most decorated swimmers of all time, Mark Spitz, turned 76 today, won 7 gold medals in the 1972 Games. Golfer Greg Norman, unfortunately, probably best remembered for coughing up, choking away the Masters, which was that Larry Mize ended up winning. He's 71 today, did win the Open Championship in 1986 and 1993. And in the entertainment world, one of the creators, the creator of one of the greatest TV shows ever, Vince Gilligan, who ended up creating Breaking Bad, turns 59 today. All right. Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One. It's your restoration company, again, that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. Reach out to them via the website, restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. Sam Darnold will still and will always have his doubters. Still has people thinking he didn't win the Super Bowl. They didn't win it because of Sam Darnold. They still don't think he's the guy in the NFL. In fact, you've got talking heads, guys like Ryan Clark on ESPN, who don't want to ever just give in and give Sam Darnold the credit. When you go on TV and you say there's 9 quarterbacks in the NFL that I would take over Sam Darnold, that just tells you that you're just not willing to say, truly, I'm sorry, I screwed up. I made an assessment and judgment on him that was not right. Because the hardest thing for people to do in all walks of life, but especially this industry for whatever reason in this business, is just to say, you know what, screwed up, I was wrong, I'm sorry, move on, I got it wrong. And that's okay. It's an opinions-based business. But people in our business have a hard time just acknowledging they were wrong. They'll kind of say they're sorry, but then they'll be, but like we talked earlier with Danny Kelly, I was wrong about DK Metcalf and JSN. I didn't think JSN could be a number 1 guy. And I thought it was a mistake that DK, I would have liked to have kept DK on the team. But I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. I don't know what was truly, how was he with the coaches? How was he with his teammates? They obviously made the right choice. JSN has blossomed into not just the number 1 wide receiver, but the best wide receiver in football. Lots of people were wrong about Sam Darnold. Many people didn't believe in Sam Darnold. But he believed in himself, and ultimately, in all walks of life, that's all that matters. Darnold's performance, it was not Ben Roethlisberger's performance against Seattle in 2005 when they won the Super Bowl. Darnold was not a luggage carrier like Trent Dilfer when the Ravens won the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold for 2 years straight has been one of the most elite top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League. And those numbers, he's put up the stats, the wins, they don't lie. The beauty of Sam Darnold is that he does not care, though, about the outside noise. It is refreshing for a sports athlete, for anybody in the public eye, not to care as much. He never gives any indication that he does. The voices will never define him. The belief, I think, in his family, his teammates, is all he needs. That is Hey What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One. Again, reach out to with all your restoration needs, restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. Thank you to you, the audience, for watching and listening today. Would not be possible to do this without your support. Thank you. Our sponsors again, Limback Lumber, Flatstick Pub, Georgetown Brewery, Restoration One, Hive Social, Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Zogs on Fox Island. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Find today's Daily Puck Drop up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel, please. Hit that like button, leave a comment, try to get to as many as we can. Find all of our work at pucksports.com. Also, you can sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse. $5 a month, cancel anytime. Money is an issue, let me know. Send me an email. We'll work something out. I want people to get access to everything. And I know how times are tough right now. You got a lot of different subscriptions, money. And you're like, I want to support, I want to do it, but I can't. Reach out to me and we'll work something out. We give you bonus shows throughout the week. Coming out later today, another edition of the Sports Pit with Stretch. Coming out, Matt Stretch Johnson. We'll have another show with Ryan Divish, Inside Pitch, coming out on Wednesday. And KJ Arns with Mitch on Thursday. Also, check out the new Groms with Gas Take 5 podcast, which we now produce. New episodes out every Monday on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. Thank you, thank you, thank you for a edition of Tuesday's show. It is in the books. We'll talk to you tomorrow, a Wednesday show. Jimmy Moore is back. We'll be at the parade, and we'll talk to Rob Staten from SeahawksDraftBlog.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, as always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!